Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 4 of the Crush Card Cup. I'm Aleximo, joined by Mr. Joseph Rothschild, MBT Yu-Gi-Oh! Himself for another electrifying commentary. And for this match, oh boy, do we have a good one. We have Recape, who is playing Pure Mekk-Knight. Shoutouts to Shannon Long, going up against Jack Verma, one of Europeans' finest, on Dinosaur. And so before we get into it, just want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of this event for providing some incredible prizing, Project CCG, Ultimate Guard, as well as We Play Games. Check out their links down in the description for any of your card or accessory needs. Joseph, we wanted to bring the players something that wasn't Eldritch or Adamancipator, right? And I think this is a pretty adequate substitute considering both of these players are 3-0.
Open the door. Get on the floor. It's time to watch some Dinosaur. I absolutely love this deck. Soul Eating Oviraptor is one of my favorite all-time cards that I hope is set to 1 at some time in the near future. And look at that main deck Lancia out of Jack Verma. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, this is interesting because Lancia is actually pretty decent against some of the top decks right now. Might be a little bit bold to main deck it. However, this is a tournament where people are allowed to switch decks in between rounds, at least until we get to the top cut. So players are like adapting their strategies as they go and realizing that the meta is shifting pretty much on a 48-hour basis for this tournament. But we're still seeing tons of Adamancipator, tons of Eldritch. We have Dinosaur, we've got Salamangreat, and just a plethora of other decks as well. But I'm excited to cast some Mekk-Knight.
Sure.
So Blue Sky coming down here with the column made with the Oviraptor as well as the set card from Recape side that will trigger Blue Sky. We're going to get a purple Nightfall. Lancia, I don't think really does particularly much against Pure Mekk-Knight. I know my Pure Mekk-Knight knowledge is a little bit limited, but from watching Shannon Long, I don't think it matters too much.
Well, if they're uninvoked, it does a little bit, of course. You aren't able to banish the A-lister with the effective invocation, and Purple Nightfall itself does need to be banished in order to gain its effect, but other than that, you know, the interactions are few and far between. Obviously, the thing you're maining Lancia for is Adamancipator to prevent that all-important block dragon summon, and of course, is Eldritch to stall them for a single turn. This board does not really care very much about it.
Yeah, and then even so, you can use Purple Nightfall as a quick effect, so then Lancia's effects will have been completely nullified at that point. But we're swinging in for 4,500 here. This looks pretty good from Recape. Again, it's not like the most intimidating board, but Jack didn't really have much to go off of having his Oviraptor getting hit by Imperm.
Yeah.
So
the I think the only thing that this stopped is search of Indigo, and then 2 negates rather than 1 from the World Legacy Secret. That's something that a single Miscellaneous Source will play around regardless.
Right, and so we saw him flip up the World Legacy Secret. Jack just wanted a quick read of that just to make sure he understood how he was going to be able to play around it. We see a Summon of Pankratops because it's a dinosaur, so you're going to main deck this card if you're on Dino. And then Giant Rex coming down. This is interesting. This kind of deals with things rather well.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a reasonable amount of attack, shockingly. Unfortunately, Morningstar is a really rough card in terms of the text that is actually on it. Looks like Recape is going to banish this Purple Nightfall in response to the attack. Of course, it doesn't banish for cost, so if you like, you can use something like Pankratops in order to negate it, but of course that would be met with these secrets, which is what I believe we are probably saving the Pankratops for.
Yeah, and we saw Giant Rex crash with the Mekk-Knight Morningstar. We still have that World Legacy Secret set in the back row. Purple Nightfall should return to the field, which it looks like it did in the standby phase. And now we're going to be able to Gamma Seal over the Pankratops. That's going to be able to possibly set up a column here for this Blue Sky that was searched off Purple Nightfall. And things are looking pretty good for Recape right now.
Yeah, this is absolutely over. I mean, you can use Purple Nightfall in order to banish that copy of Blue and free up a column. You can normal summon Avrim for lethal. I guess that's where we are in terms of Mekk-Knight playability.
And check this out, we're going to game 2. Sorry, I had to.
You would have been remiss to not make this joke.
For sure. So, Mekk-Knight's picking up game 1 against Dinosaur. Again, keep in mind, everyone, both of these players are 3-0, and both these players are also very good at Yu-Gi-Oh! At that. So, I think we are going to have a very good game on our hands here. So, we see that Jack is opting for Recape to go first. Makes sense if you're going up against Mekk-Knight. Pure Mekk-Knight, interestingly enough, going first is not as dead as you might think, as if it were like other variants. Being able to just link off stuff like Avram into a Link Spider, giving yourself columns. We've seen this plenty of times over and over again with Shannon Long, but we're making the Morning Star here. He has the Indigo Eclipse engraved now, so if he has secrets, he's going to be able to bring that back and have 2 monster negations. He's going to search that off of Morning Star regardless.
Yeah, we've seen things like Iperia into Almirage played in that Avram slot. I obviously am a little biased towards the vanilla. I think it's hilarious. But regardless, even going first with no column set up from his opponent, we're ending on at least 2 monster negates. They're going to have exactly Miscellaneous Source to get out of this one. Ooh, or Lightning Storm.
Or Lightning Storm. Yeah, Lightning Storm will clean this up pretty good. We're going to destroy secrets as well as Key. Key's so also... Nice. Yeah, but now this is going to open up Jack to use this Fossil Dig pretty much unimposed. Obviously, we do know that Recape is on a slew of other cards for going second as well. We saw Imperm in Game 1. Here's the Ash Blossom for the Oviraptor, but that gets met with Miscellaneous Source, so this Oviraptor will resolve. And that's going to be it for Game 2. Instantly scooping it up. Recape has seen the writing on the wall. But Game 3 already. This is exciting.
It's been like 5 minutes. I feel as if there's 2 different versions of Dinosaur, right? There's the version where you get to... normal summon an Oviraptor, meet with an infinite impermanence, and then pass your turn. And there's the version where you draw Miscellaneous Source. That version seems unbeatable. And if Jack is able to put together a hand that includes Miscellaneous Source in Game 3, I think he could end on a suite of extenders and monsters that shut the door on Recape no matter what they've drawn.
Can I also say it's also rather interesting that both of these decks want to force the other player to go first. And so this might be one of the few matches they play where they're fighting for who goes second, funny enough. But Lost World Oviraptor, when you're forced to go first, seems pretty good. We are going to see a Ghost Ogre come down from Recape, but Miscellaneous Source again. Why is this card at 3?
You drew Miscellaneous Source and a way to get to Oviraptor and a way to protect it with Lost World. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. And now, of course, we'll be activating the effect of Oviraptor with the Miscellaneous Source in Graveyard in order to replace the Destruction effect with a Baby Ceresaurus to extend further. I mean, this is basically all you can ask for on the play as Dinosaur.
Yeah, again, like the boards that Dinosaur puts up going first, they're formidable. They're not like Adamancipator boards, right? I mean, the best you might see is something like Dolka plus Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, or in this case, Logia, right? But that's still pretty hard for some decks to play through.
We're going to activate the effect of Miscellaneous Source in order to get a Petit Pteranodon from grave. The card summoned by Miscellaneous Source is destroyed by its own effect at the end of the turn, so we'll be able to trigger the Petit Pteranodon and get a copy of Pankratops. I mean, that's pretty good against the column deck.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to just shatter any columns that Recape attempts to make here, and you have the potential to negate literally anything because of Logia. Logia, not really seeing too much over Dolka, but another card we don't see too much is Lee the World Chalice Fairy.
Wow, this individual really deep on cards you want to normal summon. Lee the World Chalice Fairy has been historically included in Pure Mekk-Knight, and will definitely eat the Logia negation.
Right, so Logia is going to negate the summon of that Lee, so at least you have that taken care of. You still do have to worry about Pankratops here and being able to destroy any of the columns you might want to set up. But again, we can just make that column over in Logia, or at least attempt to. And here comes Indigo Eclipse. So Indigo Eclipse not that imposing right now. It just depends on what follow-up he has here.
Unfortunately, giving your opponent a token means that they have easy fodder for Morningstar, but I don't know if you want to commit to a play like that. Moving the Indigo to get a Blue Sky, however, is much different. This might prompt the Pankratops activation just to deny a search.
Yeah, possibly, but at the same time, it's a little bit rough, and we are going to see Jack commit to that. But again, he is just opening the window for, like you said, possibly an Indigo Eclipse play. Oh, we're seeing Jack actually Twin Twistering on resolution, just destroying the column, taking out World Legacy Secret, and that's pretty big here. I mean, Jack is just simplifying the game state as much as possible. At this point, you feel like Jack has to win this, right?
I honestly don't know. I mean, I don't know the rest of Jack's hand. If he's got something like an Ash Blossom, it's easily a win condition for him. If he doesn't, we could go into a Morningstar. If we're on a second copy of Secrets, we could get that, and suddenly we've got an Indigo in Graveyard, but we would have to have exactly a Mekk-Knight in hand. Whoa!
Okay, so Lib, the World Key Blade Master, making one of her debut appearances, and that's going to be met with Phantasme, as a matter of fact. So Lib is a way to kind of clear this board out just a little bit. It also allows us to set a World Legacy spell or trap directly from the deck, so this could maybe get Recape back in this.
And you're usually on 2 copies of Secrets, and yeah, he is going for it. We've got 2 negations, but oh man, Phantasme is a big old boy.
Yeah, I mean, also sculpting Jack's hand. Oh, but the last card was Purple Nightfall, so Lib allowing Recape to get the column where the Logia is to be able to special summon the Nightfall, and now Nightfall can deal with the Phantasme and is now the biggest threat on the board. I don't know. Recape actually, I don't think is out of it quite yet.
I mean, those were just about the best two possible things that could be in the opener. He can summon Red afterwards and use Red's effect in order to get that off the field, and then he'll be able to Indigo Eclipse Reborn with this copy of Secrets next turn for potentially 2 negations. I mean, seems pretty good. Now, if you are on Lost World, the way you can play around it is giving your opponent a token in the column that your monster is in, so they can't put a Mekk-Knight there and prevent it from resolving.
These are the big brain Mekk-Knight strats that you have to prepare yourself
Unironically,
for,
they are. I hate it.
Yes. So now we're going to link off the Lib as well as the Red Moon for a Morning Star. I think this will trigger Lib. Yes, it does. And now that means we can shuffle Lost World away. And just like that, Recape has 2 monster negates effectively face up. We saw Jack kind of just telegraphing this was going to be the play at some point. He preemptively took out his Lost World. But here we go. I mean, with the Secrets and the Indigo Eclipse in Grave, we're going to see 2 monster negates potentially. And in a monster-heavy deck like Dinosaur, this could be very devastating for Jack Verma.
Obviously, Miscellaneousaurus is going to be the key to all of this. If he has a Miscellaneousaurus, none of the things that are on board matter. But if he doesn't, it's going to be way harder. There's Misk available in Graveyard for 4. Looks like he's going for 2 right now to get the remaining baby from the deck. Okay, interested to see where this goes.
All right, so terraforming, so going for a diagram, okay, this makes sense. You know, we'll be able to trigger the baby Ceratosaurus at this point because it's mandatory. We get Agnimazog, interestingly enough.
Oh, gross.
Ooh. I mean, you got to do it, right? I mean, going for Oviraptor off of this is going to be met with the Secrets here. So now we're going to special summon Indigo, and because of Secrets, Secrets negates the effects of any monsters that a Mekk-Knight occupies in the same column, which in this case Oviraptor happens to be, so that's going to be negated.
So it's a normaled Misk followed by a specialed copy of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Where is this going? Yeah, Recape is right. What do you do in this scenario? It's in the exact right column to deal with the Morningstar, and I think that we're just clearing the board, saying you're going to have to beat exactly a rank 4 in an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Wow, I constantly do not give UCT enough credit.
Right, so here we go. We're going to attempt to attack over this here. It looks like we're going to use Indigo Eclipse to move Morningstar to the main monster zone.
Yeah, this kind of screws it up. I mean, he says you're still taking damage, but no, Star does prevent damage as well. I think we get to destroy the Indigo Eclipse. Yeah, we do, but...
Right, we do. But, I mean, Mekk-Knight Morningstar is going to survive and at least give him somewhat of a board presence here. But I don't think this is a turn anywhere saw this duel going, that's for sure.
Not me, for sure. Pankratops is okay. It's able to destroy Secret if you absolutely need to. It's potentially able to destroy Morningstar, and it looks like we are going to go for the Secret.
Right, and so now top decking here from Recape doesn't really have much more besides that. Excuse me, we do have Purple Nightfall coming back, so that actually does change the equation quite a bit here. Such a floaty boy.
We can turn everything face down, which is pretty good. So you're going to have to activate the purple almost immediately to prevent a meaningful interaction with Ultimate Conductor Tyranno.
Right, so, but it looks like that is going to resolve, so Purple Nightfall is going to get banished. We're going to get to search for any of our Mekk-Knight cards here. This is rough, though. Like, that card you top-decked, if you're Recape, has to be really, really good if you want to be able to come back from this in any sort of capacity. So we're going to go for Blue Sky.
Yeah, that and it has to be a spell card, because you need to set up a column that you otherwise don't have access to.
Right, and it looks like it was a Ghost Ogre. Okay, so you could potentially make a column, but I think Tyranno might trigger to deny that.
Yeah, I would shotgun Tyranno here, just to keep my opponent off of what's likely going to be an Almirage.
Right, but now Recape can chain the Ghost Ogre because its effect can actually be used on the field to destroy Tyranno.
That's cool, but that's also the end of the turn for Recape.
Right, but at the same time now, I mean, at least he has like a monster on the field. I mean, Jack's sitting on that diagram, right? So if Jack has any meaningful way just to get something going, Agnimazon, I believe, is the last card in hand because it's not in the grave yet. So, I mean, he's able to pop that to get something else, but this top deck's going to have to be pretty good from Jack. Granted, he's not on like the biggest
I actually
clock,
disagree.
But...
He's got a Miscellaneous Source in Graveyard. It's an easy banish for a Soul-Eating Oviraptor. You can go ahead and activate Dragonic Diagram for the Litho that's still in deck. I mean, I think this is probably an easy walk to lethal for Jack, provided that he's still got the necessary material in deck. You can see there's 2 UTCs, so he won't have that ability, but he does have just about everything else.
Sure, and you're right. I did neglect that there was the Miscellaneous Source engraved, so that does make things a lot easier here. We're just going to be able to pop the Baby Sarosaurus, summoned off of that with the diagram, get the Oviraptor, pretty much telegraphing almost exactly as you said it. This will be able to get the... Oh, looks like he's going to put Giant Rex back, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we need 2 fires for that Agnimazon, I think. Oh, nope, we are going for a Giant Rex.
No, it just has to be one fire. If he wants the... I know you want to banish cards, Joseph, but we're just trying to go for lethal here. So we're going to go for Giant Rex. We're going to destroy the second copy of Agnimazon and a Phantasme in hand. And so this is not lethal, but this is going to allow Jack to set up a Dolka here to destroy any of the other effects.
Actually, Giant Rex did not attack directly there. It doesn't have the ability to do that. I think that he's trying to overlay here. The only thing you have to worry about is the returning purple. You know the blue's in hand. As long as you go into something like a Tornado Dragon, you should be fine.
Right. I mean, we know the card in hand is Blue Sky from Recape, so it's going to be rough here. Oviraptor is actually going to be popping Giant Rex to bring back Conductor Tyranno to give Jack just some sort of defense to stop any sort of link plays. Purple Nightfall is going to return here. And this is going to be rough, though. I mean, only on Blue Sky and 1 card draw. You have to play through Conductor, which can just set everything face down at any single moment. So let's see. It looks like the players are just quickly working out the life points there just to make sure that those are accurate. And we're just going to battle phase, so Nightfall is going to attack over Oviraptor. If you're Jack, like, that's fine.
Yeah, you've got more than enough. Whoa, that's rough. Drawing the Nibiru way late, but you are able to discard it to get back the Lee, the World Chalice Fairy that's been lurking in the graveyard since turn 1.
And so I feel like you're just going to Tyranno here just to set everything face down.
Well, you'll wait to Resolution, of course. Oh, World Chalice.
Oh, sure, of course. Of course. So we are going to get World Legacy World Chalice here, and we have used our normal summon, so that's not going to matter too much in that instance. I'm really just trying to think how Recape does get out of this.
He's thinking about chaining purple, which it looks like he's going to do. If he's got an Avram, yeah, it's going to look nice in the hand. You can't make a column with that. You've already used your normal summon.
Yeah, I think that's the unfortunate part here, and that's just going to be a pass, and so...
Oh
my god! Pot of Extravagance off the top for Jack Verma. I mean, how much better... Talk about top decks. You know, that was the kind of top deck that Recape needed. Couldn't quite get it. And now here we go, drawing 2. I mean, this might just signal the end of the game. And Fossil Dig off of that. What more could you ask for?
Are we out of Oviraptors? We might actually have to get a Miscellaneous Source here. And Aeolo is the only remaining target. So this is the bad thing about Dinosaur. After 3 turns of playing the advantage game, you're actually just all the way out of stuff.
So here we go, using Diagram, getting a copy of Lithosigem. We're going to switch Ultimate Conductor Tyranno to attack mode. Just going to attack over this Lee, take 1,000 damage for Recape, and just pass.
I mean, they're really just about out of stuff in the deck. All Recape has to deal with is this one Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and they're going to have all the material in the world to do so.
This is tense. I mean, this is you do have to deal with Tyranno, right? I mean, that's able to flip all your stuff face down. It makes it very difficult for you to get columns. We know 3 of the 4 cards in Recape's hand at this point, so he literally had to have top decked a spell or trap to make a column of his own without Tyranno just flipping anything face down. So it's going to be very difficult.
That's a good one. Hey, that's a good one.
Control.
That is a really good one.
That's a. I guess we're going top deck for top deck now. That was incredible. I think we're seeing if Jack wants to respond with the Tyranno's effect.
Oh yeah, you
here.
Absolutely activate the effect of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno destroying itself, and it looks like, yeah, he's going to activate it following a chain with the purple. We don't have the ability to get a spell or trap, it doesn't look like, but we do have the ability to discard the World Chalice in order to get the Lee back. That's a sweet normal summon. The Earth Lithiosagem is huge, but it's going to be very hard to summon with so few monsters in deck. You know, we're all the way out of Baby Cerasauruses, Petit Pteranodons, Oviraptors, Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos. I think maybe we have a Miscellaneous Saurus left in deck, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, without another monster to be able to pop, I think he might be almost out of True Kings as well. He's used 2 Agnimazod with those moves at 1, so he might still have 3 left. So technically, he could pop whatever card he draws with Diagram to get the third one. Oh, and he drew the Agnimazod. Oh, wow. Okay, so now Agnimazod's going to come down here. This triggers Lithosagem, as a matter of fact, to special summon a other Agnimazod from the graveyard, and I think that's game.
He just goes to the battle phase and attacks. Yeah, I believe that is it. Whoa, that was the very last monster in the deck. What an unbelievable set between Jack and Recape.
And that is it. I mean, I don't think anyone would have predicted the outcome of that game. That was an incredible back and forth. 2 very talented players. Both these players were 3-0 going into this, so now we have Jack Verma at 4-0, but Recape's still a very dangerous player sitting at 3-1. I'm curious to see where this goes. But guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next match.